In this session, we look from a broad perspective and try to understand a browser architecture. The first component is the user interface. The user interface allows end users to interact with all visual elements available on the web page, like the address bar, home button, next button, and all other elements that fetch and display the web page requested by the end user. Communicating with the user interface is the browser engine. The browser engine functions as an intermediary or a bridge between the user interface and the rendering engine, which we'll talk about next. It queries and handles the rendering engine as per the inputs received from the user interface. The rendering engine, as the name suggests, is responsible for rendering a specific web page requested by the user on their screen. It interprets HTML and XML documents along with images that are styled or formatted using CSS. Then a final layout is generated, which is displayed on the user interface. Every browser has its own unique rendering engine. Rendering engines might also differ for different browser versions. Examples of browser engines used by a few common browsers include Blink, which is used by Google Chrome, Chromium Edge, and Opera versions 15 onwards. Trident, which is used by Internet Explorer, Gecko, which is used by Mozilla Firefox, and WebKit, which is used by Safari browser and Chrome for iOS. Next, we have the networking component, which is responsible for managing network calls using standard protocols like HTTP or FTP. It also looks after security issues associated with internet communication. Next, we have the JavaScript interpreter, which, as the name suggests, is responsible for passing and executing the JavaScript code embedded in a website. Once the interpreted results are generated, they are forwarded to the rendering engine for displaying on the user interface. We also have a UI backend component, which uses the user interface methods of the underlying operating system to render some basic widgets, example windows and combo boxes. Finally, we have a data storage component, which is a persistent layer. A web browser needs to store various types of data locally, for example cookies. As a result, browsers must be compatible with data storage mechanisms such as WebSQL, IndexedDB, file system, and more.